Hi, this is just a short intro to the next video. In this video, it's mostly a tangent, mostly a rant. It has to do with my ex-husband being in the hospital, going to the hospital, the person that called me, a lot of drama. Basically, this video is all about high drama, anxiety, people trying to, control you, people trying to, make decisions for your life, people trying to decide what you're going to do, and people trying to get you to basically take care of others. It's also got to do with an elderly man, this person that contacted me wanting me to take care of, not me per se, but my ex-husband takes care of this elderly person. Anyway, and I do believe that the whole purpose of the stress and the drama was to just pawn the responsibility of taking care of this person off on to me or whoever she can pawn it off on. So basically this is just an intro, and this is basically, like I said, high drama, anxiety, and people trying to make decisions for your life and control you. Hi, and welcome to, I guess it was day 5 of my daily video or daily vlog. Yesterday, I introduced it as just a new video. I was going to do a completely new video. I didn't. I just moved it over to my daily vlog. Anyway, as you can see from the last little intro that I made, yesterday was a complete cluster mess. I mean, it was a mess. I received a call that my ex-husband was in the hospital. He is in the hospital. Like I said, he had a bump on the back of his neck. It turned blue. I don't know if it got infected. He said, the doctor said maybe laundry detergent. Don't know. It said it didn't matter. The doctor said it had to be removed. Anyway, he also, apparently they had to give him some insulin because his sugar was so high. He is diabetic. It is not under control. It is not under control. And he's not currently on medication for it. Anyway, and today he's still in the hospital. Today he had to go in for another removal of a cyst in his groin area. Apparently the place on the back of his neck was possibly a cyst as well. I'm not really sure about that. Anyway, yesterday was a mess. I was all over the map, upset. As it turns out, I posted on one of my my SUV camping forums, and I cannot believe how many people responded. I received probably close to 300 responses. It was, I couldn't believe it. Anyway, and the whole purpose, the reason I was all over the map and the way I was, is because I received a call. The person I received a call from is the daughter of the elderly man he takes care of, and she was, and she didn't know that she didn't know where I'm at. Currently, I am actually about 45 minutes from Des Moines, Iowa, but she didn't know that. She didn't know I was in Iowa. She thought that I was in Greenville, South Carolina, which for a short time I was with physical therapy. But anyway, that's irrelevant, neither here nor there. And she did say that. I was under the impression that you were in Greenville, which like I said, I was for a little bit for therapy. But anyway, I told her where I was, and I told her that where I'm at right now is work. It's work, and it's partly work. I don't want to say it's not all work. It's partly work, and this trip has been in the making for me for months, since before the semi-accident. From the first time I visited the baby Iowa 80 in North Carolina, I had made a decision, or I had decided I really wanted to visit the big Iowa 80 in Walcott, Iowa, which unfortunately it was late when I came through last night and I did not visit. But anyway, I have every intention of hopefully I can get back to that. I just saw a route that'll take me straight up to Ashland, Wisconsin and back into Michigan, and I had been debating on whether to go to Michigan. But anyway, I'm getting off on another story here. The person that called me, she made it sound like that my ex-husband was in I mean, it wasn't a good situation, of course. Anytime you have to go to the hospital, that's not a good situation. But she made it sound like that, that he was in critical condition, you know, just all this, what I call high drama. That's all I can call it. And anyway, she made it very clear that, you know, that when he got out of the hospital, oh, he's going to need someone to take care of him. He might need someone to take care of him. The whole reason that I left was because we were starting to have issues. He was starting to get, I know he wasn't feeling very good. At that time, that place on the back of his neck was a non-issue, really. It looked like a bug bite. And I know that he was having an issue with his tooth. His tooth was hurting real bad, which needs to get it pulled. It turns out, he told me today when I talked to him at the hospital, that the tooth is loose. It's about ready. It's getting right about ready. It's just going to fall out on its own. So that's actually a good thing. He's going to lose the tooth, and then that'll be it. You know, there'll be no more pain on that. Anyway, but she made it sound like he was in critical condition. He was going to need. Okay, well, I got cut off there. My apologies. This little app only allows 5 minutes, but you can also set it for 30 minutes. And when I forgot to set it back at the 30-minute time limit. Anyway, and I just figured this out the other day on this particular app, and that's something I still want to do. I still want to do a video on all the different apps that I use and the ones that are my favorite. But anyway, she made it sound like he was in critical condition and he would need home health care or, you know, 24-hour care or something. Anyway, so I was very stressed yesterday. I was under extreme stress. I was not sure what, you know, I didn't know. I mean, because I was relying on what she was saying, and I didn't know how bad the situation was. And again, he's my ex-husband, and I actually posted it on one of my forums just to get a little input, because I really, and most of the women told me, he's your ex, you know, he's not your responsibility, you know, he can take care of himself, or he can get someone else to take care of him, or, you know, if this person is so worried about it, let her go take care of him. Well, anyway, so needless to say, I was all over the map, very stressed. I don't have high blood pressure, but if I did, my blood pressure would have been probably through the roof yesterday. Because I was like, my head was spinning. I didn't know which way was which. I was all over the map. It was just not good at all. Not a good day. I was all over the map. I did not, you know, one, I didn't want to stop my trip. One, I'm working, so I can't just drop everything. Number two, even when work is wrapped up, I still don't want to drop my trip and take off from Iowa all the way back to North Carolina. That's ridiculous. I mean, you know, that's ridiculous. And there were one or two on the forum that did tell me I should probably go back or I should go home, but only to like get my stuff, you know, and move out. Well, it's my house. We share the house. It's my house. You know, I don't feel like that I should have to move. And number two, there's a lot of other issues, a lot of other things going on that I'm not going to go into in this video. I did go into it on the forum. I won't go into it here. Anyway, so that said, I wasn't sure what the situation was, how bad he was, if he was critical. The way she was making it sound, he was critical. So I didn't know. I did not know how, you know, I didn't know. And obviously I was in a state of, I don't know, not a state of panic, but a state of high alert, a state of, you know, just ramped up. I was just, you know, every emotion, every, you know, everything, you know, my own state of anxiety was ramped up to high. You know, one, being as far as I am away, I mean, it's not a 2-hour drive from Iowa to North Carolina. It's not. Anyway, I told her this. I told her that I'm working and I'm at least from Iowa. I'm a good 4 day, you know, I'm a good 4 days out. There's no way, you know, and she became exasperated. She was, I could tell, you know, she became exasperated. Well, he's going to, you know, like, and that, of course, ramped up my anxiety, you know, and I don't have to answer to this person, but, and I guess I'm guilty of allowing this person to get to me instead of, you know, instead of just, you know, not letting her get to me. But I did. I did let it get to me, and I do have anxiety, and that is an issue. I also have OCD, which I've talked about before. And all of these, you know, emotions, everything, it all kind of, you know, the drama, it all got to me. And of course, I've been driving, too. I've been driving for 2 days now. You know, 2 days pretty well straight. You know, I've been putting in a lot of hours each. Like, this is going to be my 3rd day. And I do most of my driving at night, not during the day. I do some during the day, but a lot of it during the night, or at night. Needless to say, I left the truck stop I was at last night at 11 o'clock. I was still so ramped up and could not sleep from the day's anxiety and the day's drama. I just couldn't. And needless to say, I finally got in touch with my ex-husband, and I found out that, no, the place on the back of his neck, I don't know. I'm going to assume from the way he talked that they didn't, see, from what this person, Judy, told me, they had to go in and do surgery. You know, had to literally do surgery, like drain it. I mean, when she called, like I said, she made it sound like it was critical, and she also told me that it was real bad. They thought that it was draining into his spinal, you know, they thought the bump was draining into his spinal fluid. It was affecting, you know, she told me it affected his vision. I don't know if this is true. I don't know. Maybe not. The fact that his sugar was excessively high. I don't know how high it was, but I do know that he had to have an insulin shot when he came in. That is a very good, the truth is that it's probably, I don't know, I'm not a doctor, so I don't know if the bump had something to do with it, but the sugar being excessively high, that would affect his vision. I do know that. Anyway, but she made it sound like that he was in critical condition. It was draining into his spinal fluid. They were going to have to do major surgery on him, you know, and of course that, like I said, it all led to me being really anxiety-ridden and ramped up, and telling me, oh no, he's going to be in such bad shape, he's going to have 24-hour care, you know, he's going to have care, he's going to have someone take care of him, you know, and at the time, I was right at the Iowa line, and I was having to debate, okay, do I call my bosses and let them know what's going on and tell them, you know, that I can't do it, you know, I'm going to have to turn around, go back north, drop everything I'm doing, head back to North Carolina as quick as I can, because, you know, critical, gotta go. You know, I'm going to lose that money, I'm going to lose maybe my job, you know, everything. Well, so, but I decided there wasn't a whole lot I had to do yesterday. I'd already done it. So I drove a little further west. Needless to say, I drove, I mean, when I get ridden with anxiety, I have to drive. That's the only thing that calms me down, is to drive. And I did drive further west. One thing I knew, I was already pretty certain that there was going to be some more business I had to take care of further west, which I was right. I did that this morning. But anyways, I'm not going to go into my work right now. But anyway, so I did that so I'd be closer, but I was still debating, okay, once I finish off this second time, I got to see what's going on before I call my bosses, and then I'm going to have to call my bosses, let them know, hey, give them a heads up, let them know what's going on, tell them, you know, I'm just going to have to head back. Well, luckily, I got in touch with my ex-husband last night, and I got in touch with my ex-husband this morning. Anyway, I see that my phone has dropped, so I'm going to come back in just a bit. Anyway, I got my phone plugged in. Didn't want to be sloshing it around while the video was still going. Anyway, so I tried the best as I could to be calm, but I wasn't too calm. I did finally get in touch with him last night. I had actually done what a couple of the ladies recommended, call his doctor, try to see what was going on. I was not able to get in touch with his doctor or the nurses. They wouldn't even talk to me. They just transferred me to him, to his room. And I did talk to him, and he didn't say anything about me coming back or, you know, asking for help, which he could have done. And you know, it's not a real good situation. He may think should, whatever. The only thing he said was, I thought you'd come see me. Well, I was too far. I'm in Iowa. So, and we didn't talk about that at all. I didn't, you know, I didn't want him to get, you know, agitated or anything like that, because he does get agitated. When I started to talk about his sugar, he kind of started to get agitated, and the nurse was going to take his phone away, whatever. But needless to say, I was ramped up yesterday really badly, and today I'm still sick. I woke up this morning not feeling the best in the world, and I'm still feeling the effects of the anxiety and the stress of yesterday, you know, and I realized that it was something that had to be, it was something. He did need to go to the doctor. He went to the emergency room, and he did need to go to the doctor, and he did need to have that bump drained and taken care of. And if he'd have waited much longer, you know, he may have. I mean, and I don't know if it was infected or not. I know he's on antibiotics. So either he does have some infection, or they are just being cautious. I don't know. He said he was on a lot of antibiotics, so there may be some infection. And that's partly because he just did not go to the doctor soon enough. He told me on the phone that right after I left, it got swollen up like a baseball. And I asked him, when it got to be the size of a baseball, was that not a clue that you needed to go to the emergency room? I mean, because I know when the first day that happened, he was not in such bad shape that he could not go to the emergency room. Probably could have driven himself. And even if he couldn't driven himself, and right now he doesn't have a phone, so that's why he does not have a phone right now. But the next door neighbor, Brandon, is right there. He's very helpful. I know he could have went next door and Brandon would have called an ambulance. I mean, anyway. So, or the other neighbor. I mean, that's not like, because he's still walking around. You know, in fact, the person that called told me that the first day they went to pay him, he was in bad shape, but wouldn't go to the hospital that day. He said, he was too, you know, he was kind of yucky and he wanted to take a shower and whatever. But, I mean, you know, he just pushed it out, didn't go to the doctor soon enough, and it ended up being a much worse situation than it had to be. And that's partly on him. That's partly his fault. Anyway, that said, obviously, I woke up this morning still suffering the effects of the anxiety and the stress from yesterday. I'm still kind of feeling it. I stopped here. I'm, like I said, about 45 minutes from Des Moines, Iowa. And I came to a Dollar Tree, did my normal thing that I do when I'm on the road. I usually stop at the Dollar Tree, get myself some crackers. They didn't have the Ritz I wanted. And get myself a pop, and then sit down, relax, you know, sit in the car, relax. It's kind of hot here. It is pretty hot, but it's not so hot that I'm having to run the engine, thankfully, considering gas is much higher. But I noticed gas is a little bit cheaper here. It's $2.78 here in Iowa compared to yesterday. I filled up, and or maybe it was 2 nights ago I filled up. I think I filled up 2 days ago, and that was in Illinois, and it was $3.14. So, and I'm pretty sure that I filled up like 2 nights ago. It was like really, or maybe it was early yesterday morning. I don't remember. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was early yesterday morning when I filled the car up, because I remember being so amped up from what had happened that, yeah, it probably was yesterday. It was yesterday when I filled up, and I was so amped and ramped that I forgot to fill my car, you know, and this is the second time I've run the car down all the way to empty, and I don't like doing that. I like filling it up at about a quarter or a little below a quarter, but for whatever, sometimes if I pull in at night, if it's nighttime and I've got a quarter or less than a quarter, you know, or it's below a quarter, I won't fill up that night. I'll just say I'll do it the next morning, and then sometimes I forget. But anyway, that said, I got to be a little more mindful and try to remember that. Anyway, this daily vlog is going to turn out to be a much, much longer daily vlog than I intended, so I don't want to keep talking. I don't want to end up making this vlog like all by itself and add an intro, whatever. I've done that. But anyway, the whole thing, this is part of my daily vlog, and just wanted to share what's been going on the last 2 days. A lot of info. He went in today, this afternoon. He went to the hospital yesterday, or the emergency room. They admitted him to the hospital, did whatever they had to do for the place on his neck, drained it, surgically removed it, whatever it is that they did. And then then he said that he started bleeding, I guess down in his groin area, and he's got a cyst there. They're going to drain that. I think either remove it or drain that today. And then I don't know, after that, probably tomorrow he'll probably get to go home. Maybe not, I don't know. He's already talking about the weekend and taking care of Ralph, the 97-year-old man. He was I showed him in an earlier video when we went to Chesney, South Carolina, Strawberry Hill. And that brings me to my next little point that I'm going to get to. The whole reason that his daughter Judy called and was really, I think ramped up the drama and was really ramping the drama up to try to get me to come back. And honestly, I mean, I have to complete work first before I can come back. Anyway, the whole reason I believe she ramped it up is because she wants to make sure that this weekend is going to be the weekend that Jeff goes back to work. Now, he didn't work like he worked, not this past weekend, not yesterday, or not the day before yesterday. He didn't work this past weekend, but today's like Tuesday. He didn't work this past weekend, but he worked last weekend. Anyway, Ralph's two daughters came up from Florida and Kentucky. Judy lives in Florida. Anyway, and I believe she ramped it up because this weekend is the weekend Jeff has to work. And she just wants to make sure that somebody's going to be able to be there to take care of Ralph, and she's not going to have to stay herself or try to find somebody else to step in and fill his position while he's not able to be there. And I do wholeheartedly think that she just thinks that, if I'm forced to come back, and to supposedly take care of my ex-husband, that when my ex-husband heads over to the elderly 97-year-old Ralph's house to take care of him, that I'll have to go too, because I have to try to help with Jeff and take care of Jeff, and I'll be partly the one helping out or with Ralph. Well, I love Ralph. I love Ralph. I loved his late wife Ruth. I loved them both. But Ralph is not my responsibility. He is not my father, and I don't want to be cruel, but he's not my father. I took care of my mom. I did everything I could for my dad, and I took care of my grandmother as well, and nobody stepped in to help me take care of my mother. If I had not have taken care of my mother and wiped my mother's behind when she needed it wiped, her butt would not have gotten wiped. It's that simple, and I don't want to be cruel. And the same with my grandmother. I took care of my grandmother, and we had to, do everything for her as well, the same way. And nobody stepped in and offered to take care of my grandmother for us, so we didn't have to. Nobody stepped in and offered to take care of my mother so that I wouldn't have to. Nobody stepped in and said, oh, well, well, my dad, that's a whole other story, and that's not a story. Well, actually, that's somebody did, but he was a con man, and that's a whole other story I'm not going to get into. But as far as mom and grandma, nobody stepped in to take care of my family, and I'm, and Ralph, he is his daughters and granddaughters and grandchildren and children's responsibility. They need to step up to the plate and take care of him. It is not my responsibility to take care of him. And I do believe that is the main reason she ramped it up, is so that I would come back. And if Jeff was not able to really fulfill his duties taking care of Ralph, then I would have to do it. And that's what I believe. And for that, I am not happy. I'm not happy about that at all, but it's her problem. It's her father. It's her problem. She's going to have to figure it out. And I've dealt with her before on another occasion, and this was sometime back, and I talked about this a long time ago in another video, when I was rear-ended by a semi, and my ex-husband and I drove up to Concord, or on the other side of Charlotte, North Carolina, to get the stuff out of my totaled Ford Focus. My truck, unfortunately, broke down. I had no choice but to call AAA to come and get the truck. I had to get a $300 Uber ride home, And the whole time, the only thing that this person, Judy, was concerned about was, and in fact started, wanting to know, I think she wanted to know if we were going to be there like the next morning or something, and at that time I had nothing. My truck was it. And I told her, I said, my truck is going to the shop, and I told her flatly, I remember telling her that, well, no, because my truck is, AAA's coming to pick the truck up, and it's going to a shop, to be worked on. There's no way that I'm going to be able to get over. There's no way that my ex-husband's going to, it's my truck. I said, there's no way that I'm going to be able to bring him over to the house, to Ralph's. There's no way I'm going to be able to do that, because the truck is not, it's in a shop, going to be in a shop. And she got angry. She just got really, really angry, and, or wanted to know if he was going to be there that weekend. And I was like, I don't know yet, because I don't have anything to drive. And all she was concerned about was, oh, my dad. I got to make sure somebody's there to take care of my dad. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? What is your problem? Why can't you take care of your dad? I mean, do you have to hightail it back to Florida that quick? I mean, you don't have to bolt back to Florida that fast. Stay and take care of your dad. He's your responsibility. Instead, you want to go hightail it back to Florida so you and your husband can take flights to Switzerland and Sweden and New Zealand and Australia and Canada and take cruise ship trips and go to New York and wherever else it is you're going to go, and leave the responsibility of caring for your 97-year-old dad on someone else. Well, let's just say that I have had, this is kind of the first time was I was not pleased. And I told my ex-husband right then and there that I never want to deal with that woman again. And, and I don't want to deal with her. I told him flatly, I do not want to deal with her. She can just, no, I don't want to deal with her. But yesterday she called, obviously, obviously I'm talking to her. I had to talk to her because, she was letting me know my ex-husband was in the hospital. I did talk to her briefly this morning to let her know, what was going on with him, but that was about it. That was it. And, and there was that tone in her voice. I could tell, the exasperating tone in her voice, like, she didn't ask it or she didn't say it, but like, oh, are you coming back? There was that exasperating tone, like, and she got upset yesterday, when I told her I was 4 days out, and she was just, you could just tell, she got exasperated, like, you need to just drop everything, go park your car over in a cornfield someplace, or some Walmart parking lot, leave it, and get on a plane, because that's what she does. But she doesn't think that other people may not have the money to get on an airplane, and may not want to get on an airplane. I mean, it's those kind of people that really freaking irk me. I mean, and I don't want to get upset or go off on a tangent on this video, but I kind of did. Anyway, dealing with people that, high drama. That's all I can say. Dealing with high drama people that want to try to control everything, and they want to shove their responsibilities off on other people. That's all I can say. Anyway, I am here at a Walmart parking lot. It's not late, but it's kind of hot. And it's probably about 5 o'clock. It's getting hot. It's Central Time here. And I need to end this video. It's already way longer than I intended it to be. So, and of course, this is just mostly a rant. Anyway, I will probably be back later, but right now, in another video. My next thing, I want to try to, calm myself down. I see an old, really, really, really old pink truck coming in here. Anyway, I think yesterday I did manage to take a couple of photographs. I did manage to do that. Didn't do any video. I just didn't. And now my next thing, I want to get through Des Moines, because I've never been through Des Moines. I'm debating on whether to, because I missed Iowa 80, and I do want to go back to that, but I'm debating on whether to, because I'm going to go past, my whole thing is I'm kind of planning on Nebraska, but haven't quite decided completely yet. But anyway, I want to find some stuff here. I'm told there's not a lot in Iowa. Really, there's not, mostly cornfields. But anyway, still, it's, so I've never been to I've been to Iowa and Nebraska, but never just driven through. So this is going to be a nice trip nonetheless. Hotter than I thought it would be, but that's just the way it is. If I stay on I-80 West, which I'm on right now, I'll end up in going all the way to the Wyoming line, but not sure about that. That's a long way. Really long way. That's a really long way. I kind of am thinking about maybe going a little bit further into Nebraska and exploring some stuff, and then coming back and either in there was another town, if I go back to Iowa 80, I'll go to Walcott, and then shoot up I-35 north and come into Minnesota. And if I do that, that'll bring me into Minnesota, Wisconsin, and in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. I was thinking about going to Michigan anyway. I will share some of this info in another video. For now, I'm going to end this video, and I hope everyone has a good week, good weekend. God bless. Peace. And this is just a conclusion to this video. I initially was going to add it to the daily vlog, but I changed my mind. Anyway, so this is just a wrap up of the video. You've already heard everything. I did the video, then kind of had to do an intro and whatever. I don't want to. Anyway, just a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot going on, a lot of drama. Kind of more of a rant than tangent. Not really helping anyone, kind of getting it off my chest. Anyway, so I'm about 45 minutes out of Des Moines, Iowa, and I'm about ready to hit the road and continue traveling west on I-80. Hope everyone has a good week, good weekend. God bless. Peace.